Hey, eighth grade. So today the way we're going to do the notes is we'll put the sort of basic stuff down in our notebook before class begins, and then during class we'll fill it in. So as I've always said, make sure you take the notes beforehand. It'll make a lot more sense during class. Okay, so here's the idea. You have to think about the periodic table like a list of ingredients. And what you can do is combine those ingredients in different ways to make different compounds or dishes if you want. And so what we're going to do today is look a little bit more at how you can take different elements and combine them to make a good dish, a compound. So in your um, table of contents, we're on page 29 and 30, and you're going to write forming ionic compounds. And today is the 7th of January. So forming ionic compounds, and we happen to be on page 29 and 30. Hopefully you're still keeping up with your table of contents. Okay, so go ahead and pause this video, write the things down, and then I'll have a brief description afterwards, and then we'll go into more detail during the class. Okay, so now you've hopefully unpaused it, and you can see that, as we'll talk about, atoms, when they make compounds, can do it in two ways. The first way, which we're talking about today, is called ionic bonding. Now, you've already seen this in action before, and the idea is that an electron gets transferred from one atom to the other to make them happy, both. We did it a lot with sodium chloride yesterday, and it's called ionic bonding because when the electrons are transferred, one loses an electron, one gains it, and they become ions. And an ion is any element or atom that has gained or lost an electron and therefore is no longer neutral, because now the minuses and the pluses don't equal each other. Right? That was a review. So now, an ionic compound, there's certain characteristics that are true of all ionic compounds. Just the way that you can think of, there's certain characteristics that are true of all of these particular types of lasagnas. If you made different types of lasagnas, all of them would have certain similarities. Ionic compounds have all certain similarities. Number one, they're all hard brittle crystals. Salt, sodium chloride is an example of that. They're very hard to melt, takes high temperatures, and they'll conduct electricity when dissolved in water. That will make more sense in class when I talk about that. Now, in an ionic bond, every atom must be made happy. I'm making the little rabbit ears because obviously they're not sad or happy. That just means they're stable, meaning they have a full valence shell of usually 8 valence electrons. So we're going to do two examples here, and then we'll fill in the rest of the notes during class.